The blinding flashbulbs of a celebrity red carpet can feel worlds away from the stark reality of a global disaster. Yet, in an effort to bridge that gap, international aid organizations frequently recruit the most famous people on the planet to speak on behalf of the world's most vulnerable. This strategy sits at the center of a long-standing debate. Does star power actually help solve humanitarian crises, or does it simply turn them into public relations opportunities? Many believe that celebrities are the best way to pull an overlooked crisis into the spotlight, bringing with them a surge of much-needed resources. Others argue that these famous figures are a distraction, that their presence inevitably makes the severe underlying problems seem less important. Resolving this tension requires us to move beyond gut reactions. We need to look at the structural impact of celebrity advocacy through a dual-perspective framework. To evaluate this fairly, we'll use a balanced model to measure the tangible outcomes of fame. On the left side of the scale, we measure amplification. This is the raw power to reach millions and generate political pressure. On the right, we track distraction, the tendency for the media to hijack the narrative and the risk of spreading misinformation. This framework allows us to test a central proposition, that celebrity involvement may only be a net positive when the partnership is governed by a strict set of operational constraints. To see if that's true, we first have to weigh the sheer force of celebrity amplification. The amplification theory is based on a simple reality. Celebrities possess massive, pre-existing audiences that few humanitarian organizations can reach on their own. Their involvement acts like a megaphone, instantly directing the eyes of the world toward crises that typically struggle to get a mention on the evening news. When figures like Angelina Jolie use their global recognition to highlight humanitarian crises, the subject matter receives an immediate spike in international visibility. Similarly, Emma Watson's advocacy for gender equality elevated the conversation to a mainstream level that traditional campaigns often struggle to achieve. This visibility leads to concrete results, a surge in media coverage, and, more importantly, an immediate increase in public donations. These donations translate into the physical logistics of aid, trucks loaded with water and food moving into areas where they are needed most. Beyond the money, celebrities can pressure governments to move faster, forcing policy changes and speeding up the delivery of essential services. On this side of the scale, celebrity influence is a highly effective tool for mobilizing support and delivering physical relief. But there is a flaw in the amplification model. It assumes that having a massive platform is the same thing as having deep expertise. Many celebrity campaigns are well-intentioned, but can be fundamentally ill-informed about the complex socio-political causes of a crisis. If a star simplifies a complicated geopolitical conflict, they risk spreading misinformation to millions of people in an instant. This forces aid organizations to spend their limited resources correcting the public record instead of delivering help to the people who need it. Without proper guidance, the same star power that accelerates aid can just as easily sabotage it. This leads us to the spotlight shift, the phenomenon where the celebrity's presence inadvertently eclipses the very tragedy they are trying to highlight. Journalists and the public are often more drawn to the spectacle of the individual than the hard statistics of the crisis itself. In many cases, press coverage at disaster sites ends up focusing on what the celebrity is wearing or saying, ignoring the context of the suffering. This media frenzy can feel jarringly out of place next to the grim reality of ruined homes and shattered lives. The cameras follow the famous face, while the systemic problems, like grinding poverty or environmental collapse, fade into the background. We see this clearly at massive charity concerts. The day after the event, headlines usually celebrate the musical performances, rather than reporting on exactly how the funds will be used to help people. On this side of the scale, we see a dangerous risk, that urgent global problems are reduced to mere backdrops for a celebrity's brand. To break this deadlock, organizations tether these forces together. Modern aid groups strictly manage the partnership, anchoring celebrity appearances to hard data, ensuring they act as narrators of the facts. They also pair the famous face with the real stories of local survivors, shifting the public's emotional connection from the celebrity to the mission. By acting as a strict editorial filter, organizations can harvest the massive reach of the left tray while neutralizing the distractions on the right. The concerns raised by critics are entirely valid. The risk of a celebrity overshadowing a crisis is a real and documented danger. But the sheer scale of awareness and financial support a famous figure can generate is something no other strategy can match.
When we weigh the evidence, it becomes clear that these two opposing forces don't have to be in conflict. When managed carefully, they become a protective tool for global advocacy. Ultimately, celebrity advocacy is a positive force and an undeniably powerful way to draw the world's attention to its most critical issues. However, that power only leads to meaningful action when the organizations involved stay in control of the story. The goal isn't just to use a celebrity's light. It's to direct it skillfully into the corners of the world that need it most. This video is brought to you by the IELTS Focus 084-770-5973, an English center specializing in IELTS preparation.